Okay, so where we'd got to in the last section was that we'd made this mini map, which enabled us to move the these little mini versions of the balls around on the lawn, but they weren't affecting what happened to the three-dimensional balls. And also the position of the three-dimensional balls wasn't being reflected in this mini map. So what we've done now is we've made a script that not only enables us to move the balls on the graphic, but if I move this number 10 ball over to gate 2, which is over here, what we'll see is that as I move this over, the number 10 ball appears on the three-dimensional view moving around. So I'm able to move the number 10 ball, I'm able to move the number 5 ball over to it, and I'm able to do the same with the target. So if I take the target over there, then the target appears in the three-dimensional view from the 2D view. So that's quite nice. I can manipulate the position of the balls on the 2D view, and that will be reflected in real space. The problem though is that if I press the stroke button, which would normally put an impulse on the number 1 ball and send it towards the target, that's not going to happen, because even though an impulse is added to the number 1 ball, everything is being dictated from the mini map. So if I switch over the source now to the 3D view and press stroke, then now that force will be applied and the ball will move. And of course the really nice thing is that the ball will move according to the position of the target. So if I put the target over here, go to 3D view, press stroke, oh, the ball hits the center peg, but it was heading towards the target. So we've got this sort of 2D, 3D thing going on. While we're in 3D mode, we can move the balls around using the, the draggable element if we want to. Now you'll notice I've got something that's happening here. If I can still try and move the balls on the target when they're in 2D mode, but they're just going to snap back because the source of the information for where the balls should be is coming from the lawn. Now the other thing that we've added here is an aim line. So if I click on aim line, then I'll go to 2D mode and I move the target around, then not only does the target move in 3D, but we actually see this dynamic line being drawn from the striker ball, the number 1 ball. So it's heading on that trajectory. If I go to 3D mode, press stroke, then it set off on that way, but hit the pole. So that's what we've got. We've got this 2D, 3D thing happening. We've got an aim line. A little bit painful at the moment because we've got to toggle between them. But the important thing is how the script works. So it's attached to the empty controller. We make a list for all the graphic balls. We're just going to populate that by dragging each of them in to this array of game objects here. And then we're going to make a reference to the real 3D target, the graphic target, the mini target that's on the 2D map. We're going to make a reference to the striker mini. We're going to decide whether the balls are coming from the lawn or not. Are they coming from the 3D view or are they coming from the mini map? And this little field here, this little object here, is this little cube that just toggles when we press the button. We might switch the aim line on or off, and again we need an image for that aim line. This little thing here actually should go up there just to keep it with the with its like-minded things. We have a reference to the setup script. That just saves a little bit of time in some of the script steps later on, and we get the rect transform from um, the 2D lawn, because we actually want to know its dimensions so that we can compare it to the real lawn width, so we can get the match between the dimensions of that and the dimensions of the 3D lawn. Now, the only change we've had to make to any other script is in the setup script, where all we did was, having made the target, having instantiated it, we populate the game object in the minimap script, so that we make sure that this real target here is a reference to that from the minimap script. So there's quite a few things that we have to do. I will explain it in the next thing, the next little video, so that this one doesn't go too far over time, because there's a limit to how much we can put on these YouTube videos.